the first ever Simply Amazing Live!
Woo! And we're here for an Inferno!
Yes, we are! Thank you so much, DJ Lisa, for that amazing music intro.
Baby, burn. Although, spoiler alert, there really wasn't much of an Inferno. It was
a different kind of Inferno. It was a different kind of Inferno, but we're going to get into it,
We'll get into it.
Hello, for those of you that see our Twitch for the first time, thanks for checking us out, especially so last minute. We're just so excited because Inferno's last issue was out, and we just have things to say. We want to have fun with it. We want to just get crazy with it. I am Lauren, your friendly neighborhood bi, and Lisa is over here. I got the side right this time.
Hey,
we got the OG Nocturne here.
That's me. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm like sitting over here, like queuing up our next music. Like, I'm clearly not very good at this whole live thing, so sorry about that.
You're doing amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, yeah, no, I'm super excited to be here. I'm excited to show off my cute little podcast studio I've been putting together. Right,
and that sign behind you. What's that from?
Girl, this is from Batman Returns. Oh my god, I am obsessed. I was watching Batman Returns recently because I had a whole conversation on Twitter about, is Batman Returns a Christmas movie? And it was decided that 100% it is. So I was like, yes, I'm going to watch it again because I love it. And
yes.
I mean, and Catwoman was one of my absolute favorite superheroes or villains or whatever you want to call her. One of my absolute favorites I ever loved. And I remember being a kid and wanting this as a child. And I'm like, now I'm an adult with my own money. Damn it, I want to buy it. So there you go.
Now yes.
I love it.
It looks so good. And I know somebody else who's a fan of Batman and also Kurt and the X-Men. We've talked with him on our pod before. But I wanted to bring him back in because he's just so fun to talk to. He's one of our good pals. He knows X-Men so well. And he's just an all-around good guy. So we're going to bring in our friend Chris Evans. Chris!
I have the best theme song.
Yeah!
It's the best theme song. Well, next to the X-Men theme song.
Yes. Well,
you mean the 90s one, right?
Yeah. There's no competition for that X-Men theme song.
Well, a spoiler alert, we're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks. But we all have a little piece of our heart missing because we lost Betty White last week, of course. So that was very sad. And I know it seems stupid and weird to talk about Betty White in an X-Men podcast, but I was talking about this before we even got on. I really do believe that the Venn diagram of people who love X-Men and people who either already love Golden Girls or should start watching Golden Girls is like a full circle. So Golden Girls was one of the most revolutionary shows of the 1980s. It tackled topics that no other television show wanted to tackle at the time, with some of the most legendary actresses ever basically at the end of their careers, essentially. But they revolutionized this unbelievable medium, and I love them all so much. I've got my Golden Girls necklace on. I've got my Golden Girls mug. I've got my Golden Girls fan. So Betty,
let's say you're a walking Golden Girl.
I am a walking Golden Girl. I'm not quite a Golden Girl yet. I'm not even 40. So we'll call me like a silver. No, not silver. Like what's under the silver? The bronze girl. Bronze girl. I guess I'm a bronze. I don't know. That even sounds worse. All right, never mind.
That sounds like a stripper name or something. So
I'm a diamonds girl. I'm Emma Frost. That's what I am.
Yes.
Because Emma Frost. No, who knows how old Emma Frost actually is? She says she's 27, but give me a break.
I was gonna say she's not telling anybody that, and she shouldn't. She's probably sliding timescale. I would guess she's around her late 30s, early 40s. Like close to Scott and Jean and the others, but
I'd say older.
Older? So you think she's older. Like in her 50s at least?
Yeah, I think so.
I totally agree. Wild. I think I look at Emma. Emma to me is like the Samantha Jones of the X-Men, where you know what I mean? Like she's just way older than all of them, but she like holds it really well. And and is amazing at it. But like she's definitely older than all of them.
Yeah, I think she's close to like Chuck's age, maybe. Not that old.
Oh, okay. We're not getting. Yeah.
No, not that old.
We call him Professor Gaslighter here, but Chuck's close enough.
Chucky.
That's still a good way of insulting.
We can call him Chuck because it's like we're going to open the window and chuck him out of it. So there you go.
You could do that. He kind of deserves it.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thank you so much for being on, Chris, and thank you for sharing our love of Golden Girls with us for a quick sec.
Yeah.
Always hard to lose. Really, really great, iconic people, especially in the theater and stuff. And I feel like Kurt would have a soft spot for Betty White. So I think it's completely valid.
100%.
I kind of think if the Golden Girls were the X-Men, Rose may have been Nightcrawler.
Oh.
Okay.
Lisa, how have you not done this yet?
I'm just saying. I see like Blanche is the Wolverine.
Okay. Now we're gonna get into it. So actually, interesting story. I did do a lot of memes of the Golden Girl X-Men crossover a while ago. I have to dig them out and put them back out on Twitter again because they were really funny. I thought at least. I don't see. Here's the problem. Oh, Kurt being Rose, it tracks in a lot of ways. Like it even tracks like Rose's biological father is a priest. So like it tracks in so many ways, but like the one place it doesn't track is like Rose is so stupid and Kurt's not. Like that's the one thing
Sure, but I think to be fair, I've never. So Rose is actually, I guess, John, but I've always read it more on my end as she's just so innocently. She's not dumb because she doesn't have intelligence. She's stupid because she's so innocent about everything, and that is Kurt. Even if it's not the same level, that's Kurt. He so innocently believes all these things that he probably should not.
I'll accept that. I can accept that read. I can totally accept that read. Definitely.
I can accept that read. Well, I can tell you that I more than accepted reading Inferno.
Oh, girl,
we're going to talk about.
Look at that cover.
Let me tell you. Yes, this is a Momoko, and then I got 2 covers. I almost got 3, but then I was like money, so I probably shouldn't. But I also got the Decal one, which is one of my favorites.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it's good. If they still have it. If you want me to grab it for you, let me know, Chris. They might still have it in my shop. I don't know. But yeah, let's talk about it. The Inferno has ended. We are going back to a new status quo, question mark. I'd like to start with Chris, if that's okay. What did you think of the last issue?
So I love this last. I'm still on a high from it. I know you and I talked about it. So I'm still on a high from this book. This is one of the most satisfying X-Men conclusions I think we've had in so long. This hit it ticked every box except one, which we'll get to, but it was so cinematic, and the way it brought everything together from not just Inferno, but other stuff that we've read up until this point, and it wraps up with a nice little bow at the end. I love this book. It's great. I don't know if we can curse because we're on Twitch or whatever, but it's awesome.
I'll say I think we can, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see if they come give us a hit or something.
It's freaking great.
It's no, I agree. I thought it was. There was a part of me that felt like it was a little anticlimactic, but I know that there were changes made because they decided they wanted to keep the Krakoa era going. So I understood that. But I mean, there were definitely gasp moments and like,
yeah. I felt like it was like I was watching a movie. Like this felt like as invigorating as like watching Endgame in theaters, which again, I don't think that's the best movie ever, but that the first time watching that film in theaters, if you watch it with an audience, is so invigorating because everybody was so into it. You're like, oh my god, this. And that's how I felt with Inferno. But even looking back on it, I still think it holds up. Whereas Endgame, I don't think holds up as well after I saw it. I'm still flipping through Inferno like, holy crud, like what in the world happened? Why did this go here? Why did this go there? Hold on, how does this connect? If anybody's watching the live right now, feel free to let us in the comments what you thought of Inferno if you've read it.
Yes, MCU love to throw those up here. MCU stands. It was Lauren who said that Endgame didn't hold up. So just FYI.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
Look, we're not going into that. No, we're not doing it. But I do want to talk about, because you really mentioned, Lisa, you hit it on the head. so many good gasp moments.
Oh, yeah.
What were some of your favorite moments where you're just like, oh, like this happened?
I mean, not to like, not to beat a dead Doug, but like Doug. That whole moment was, I mean, it wasn't unexpected, because they kind of were planting the seeds for Doug to really become a big player this whole time. But the fact that he just kind of shows up and is like, oh, guess what? I know you guys had a plan and you've been working this whole thing this whole time. Well, guess what? I'm going to change the whole thing. And yeah, you're doing it by my rules now. And I loved that Bay was brought into it because I felt like there was this moment earlier in Inferno where like Bay wakes up and she has this expression on her face where it's this very like suspicious expression. And it's like, why is she so suspicious? Is she suspicious of Doug? What is this? But now it seems like she was in on this whole thing too. Like she understood, she was a part of it. So that all makes sense now. Because like, listen, don't take them up, please. Like we finally got a happy couple in the X-Men. Can we please like let them be happy? Like please. There's no reason to break up Doug and Bay. There's just no reason. Like who is scrambling for Doug and Bay that we need to break up this couple? You know what I mean? What creator is like, no, we cannot keep Doug Ramsey married. It's just untenable. We can't do it. Like, give me a break. Come on, let them be happy.
I feel like if any creators had the idea of like screwing things up for Doug, like Hickman would come back in a heartbeat. He'd be like, "I'm sorry. Like I did all this for my man Doug, and you want to tear it up? Suddenly, I'm all right. X office to me, my X-Men. Let's go. Sit down."
Listen,
I hope that's what would happen.
I'd pull up like Regina George, like, get in, bitch, we're going to Marvel. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, like, like, come on.
Does that mean you want to hit the new creator with a bus, though?
No, because then I'm Regina George. I would get hit by the bus. Okay, never mind.
Okay, never mind.
Bad metaphor.
We can still get in the car and go to Marvel, though.
You can be one of the other girls. You can be Gretchen. Gretchen can take her place.
We'll just get in a car without a metaphor. How about that?
Yeah, the other one I was thinking of is Zoolander when they're listening to Wake Me Up Before You Go and they go to the gas station. Doesn't it blow up or something?
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay.
Every car metaphor we're coming up with ends in death. Let's.
In Clueless, it didn't.
We'll take a bicycle to Marvel.
Better idea.
I love it. So, Chris, what was another gasp moment that was for you? I'm sure the Doug one got you too a bit, but what else hit you?
It did. I love that one. When Nimrod just kills Charles Xavier, that was amazing. I was like, yes, leave him dead for a while too. I really like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I should have asked. Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah, we've
been
spoilers. Full spoilers.
Yes,
I didn't say it. Full spoilers, everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Guys.
Yes. This is a spoiler show.
Yeah, 13 minutes in. By the way.
Right. When Nimrod snaps his neck or whatever, after like he told Magneto, trust him. It's like, nope, you shouldn't.
Oh, that was even better because Charles told him you need to trust him. And Eric said, okay, hubby, I will trust him for you. And then Nimrod said, oh, well.
Trust this.
It was brutal. Yeah.
It was. That whole sequence, though, was like one gasp after another for me. I love that sequence. But that particularly was like the best end cap they could have went with, just kill Charles.
And honestly, I think you mentioned this to me in the private chat before, but like, I agree with you. They should have let him be dead longer. He should have stayed down for a while. Like, but then Emma brings him back later, and it's like a week later, and I'm like, Emma. And like when he comes back, he's also back in his same position. Why has Emma not taken over his role and told him, over there in the corner, buddy, like you're back, but
right. That's what I wanted. I wanted Emma to take over for a little bit because to me that was the logical next step. Like, okay, you guys kind of screwed up here. Let me take over. I'm Emma Frost. I can do shit. I'm cool.
But is that not what is happening, kind of? Because here's the thing. I took this whole end as Emma being like, okay, you guys have had your fun, but like, I'm taking over. Like, I've told everybody all your bullshit, and now, like, now you guys now you can sit at the kids' table. and let the adults handle this. Like, that's how I took that whole last thing.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no. And the other thing
right?
is like, and the reason I feel like, I feel like I would have resurrected him immediately too, because, when you're in a fight with somebody and you have like a really sick burn, you want to say it to them immediately. I would have been like, oh yeah, by the way, like, come back, Charles, by the way,
well, yeah.
I've done everything. I've taken all your kids from you. Everybody hates you now. And here's your mask, by the way.
I think that now that you said, this page might be telling, because the way it shows she's like standing in front of them and they're on their knees in front of her. Maybe that's kind of telling.
And then right below that, she says, "To me, my X-Men."
Right.
But here's the thing, though. Emma is smart. And so even though I'm with Chris and I wanted her to, basically be running things from the front, here's the thing. She won't do that because she knows that won't work in her favor. She doesn't want to be Charles. She doesn't want to be Eric. She just wants to keep taking care of her shit she needs to do and doing the good she thinks she can do, but without the responsibilities that Xavier and Eric have. And so what she does is, she holds all the cards still. You're absolutely right. She holds all the cards, but she's not going to take his seat. And if you look at the picture later where they're all at the table again, you can see that at the top there, it's still, right, as of right now, Charles and Eric and Destiny is there, which is incredibly interesting to me, while Emma still has her regular seat. So even though, so her facade is that she's not the leadership that has to take all the blame, that has to have all the accountability, but she holds all the cards if she needs to change things in her favor, and that's what she does best,
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, I'm with you. Like, I understand why she didn't, but I'm still, my fan side is like, oh, but screw Charles. Like, let Emma run things for a while. Like, but
cool.
I understand why it's in character for it to be this way. But I am interested to see, because basically Destiny has taken the role of Moira. But she also has to see on the council, which Moira did not have, even though she had a lot of power.
Yeah.
It was all behind the scenes.
Yeah, she had a silent seat on the council.
She played Charles and Eric like fiddles, which caused them to play everybody else like fiddles. So she was the mastermind, but now, she's gone. God knows where. And Destiny is actually having a physical, visible seat on the council, which you're right, Maura didn't have. So I'm interested to see where that goes, because for me, the moment where my favorite gasping scene, I guess, was with Mystique and Destiny, when you were like, when it was like, oh, well, we're just gonna kill you, and then you thought they killed her for a second, and you're like, oh my god, did they actually reset this shit? Like, oh my god, they didn't. And then you find out that no, they didn't, but they did make her human, and they were still going to kill her. So I was all revved up. I was like, oh my god, this plan's genius. They're going to kill her anyway. Do it. And then Doug came in, and I was like, Doug, my dude, now was not the time. But I want to see what Mystique and Destiny are going to do now that that plan was foiled. So now they have to come up with another plan. What do you guys think they might end up doing on Immortal X-Men?
I don't know. Here's the thing. They paused when Moira explained that she would be taking away the mutant gene before children became mutants, which to me feels like that shouldn't matter, right?
I thought that was kind of important. Sorry.
Okay, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. I think that was important.
Oh yeah, it was a weird situation because for example, right? I mean, if we're going to like use like the LGBT metaphor, like gay people are born gay, but usually don't understand it till their adolescence but it's the same way. It's similar to like, straight people also don't understand their sexuality until adolescence, really. You know what I mean? Nobody understands sexuality until adolescence, really, because we're not really engaging in it or thinking about it because we're children. So for me, it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, but they're still born mutants, even though they're not like mutants yet. So like, to me, it was like, yeah, they paused, but it was like, oh, okay, but I don't know. To me, I thought it was weird.
I agreed that it was interesting because I noticed that and I was like, wait a second, are Mystique and Destiny actually having some empathy for her here? Like they're seeing something there, because to me that moment was Moira trying to get them to understand her point of view. I really do think that from Moira's point of view, even though I don't agree with her, she really believes that she is helping people if she tries to cure these mutants. She believes she is helping these mutants, similar to the original Cure storyline, right? Where like you had Rogue, who was like, I would love to be cured because I would like to touch people, like please. And so I think, which now that I think about, it's kind of, to me, it's annoying bringing that theme back, but that's what she's doing. And so there, I think that was a moment where Mystique and Destiny showed actual empathy, and they were like, well, maybe some people don't want to be mutants. Because again, this Mystique and Destiny are villains, but they're also they understand things differently than other characters would, you know. And we also don't know Destiny that well because this is the most we've seen her ever. So like, I don't know. I definitely agree with you. I definitely think that has to come up somewhere again, and I think that's going to play into what Mystique and Destiny do, and it shows them more as more gray villains rather than just haha, like we're gonna rule everything. They've never been those villains, including Mystique, in my opinion, and this helps prove they still aren't.
I can see that for sure.
But it's yeah, that one was definitely weird, because for a second I was like, wait a second, don't listen, Moira. Like, no. She is more of a villain than you right now. And you know, Mystique herself was being incredibly scary.
There's definitely something to be said for like certain mutants. So I just recently read the Bendis run from 2013 that had that one mutant who like was basically an atomic bomb, and like he had like he would like gesture and just destroy everything around him. And so it's like there's definitely something to be said for like having a way to remove powers from certain mutants who either can't control them or refuse to control them or will only use them to harm others, you know? But it's once you have that technology, how do you keep it out of the hands of people who are like, we're going to use it on all mutants?
Well, I think that an interesting thing about it is Destiny can see different futures and different paths. So if you were to give Destiny that cure and say, okay, look at this kid. Is this kid the next, I don't know, Sabretooth? Yes, he is. Okay, let's cure this kid and prevent that. Or, you know, like I said, if the wrong hands get a hold of it, there's no more mutants. So I kind of see it going either way. But I don't think they actually cared about Moira in that second at all. I think it was more just, maybe that's not a bad idea, because we can use that. We can use that to our advantage, and maybe, yeah, we're villains and we're going to keep doing this villainy stuff, but we can do that too. Maybe we can prevent another Sabretooth, because we can't even control another Sabretooth.
Well, and then if you think about it, they could use that if they found a way to, you know, actually time travel as well, right? They can actually use that to like go back in time and depower Charles Xavier. Like, how wild could that be?
All
like
their enemies.
this is full villain, you know. Hey, maybe we could do that. Destiny, can you check this timeline where we do that and see if that would work in our favor?
Oh my god. Could
just
you,
for shits and giggles.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, you know.
Could you imagine, like, you're sitting down to a game of Monopoly with Mystique and you win, and then the next day you wake up without powers, and she's like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there has to be more explorations of other destinies, you know, especially if Hickman does come back. But even if he does, I feel like there is, because so this giant page here says the death of Moira X. And so far, unless I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but so far, anytime I've seen something that marks a timeline like this and says this thing in this timeline, it happens. Like, it's a thing that has happened on some timeline. And so I think it's a complete foreshadowing that she will die at some point. It's going to happen one way or the other.
I think the death of Moira X was the death of mutant Moira.
That's what I think too.
Yeah, I think that's what that was. I think it was like now Moira is gone, so that threat no longer exists. So she can die, like she can live to be 80 and die in an old folks home, or she can like go on a boat and it can sink and kill her now. Like who cares? Because none of that's going to matter. It's not going to affect any of us now. That threat is gone. So I think that's what that meant. I mean, who knows though? I mean, in 2 years, we could have a whole like the hunt for Moira X, and everybody's looking for her. So anything can happen. But I think that is what he was referring to, was like, she's gone. Good riddance.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys think that down the road that she could eventually become a mutant again somehow?
I do.
Anything's possible.
I think Forge's cure or gun, whatever it is, might just be a temporary thing, and they never tested it as far as we know. This is the first I think we've ever heard of it, so it could backfire.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good point. Wouldn't it be, I just thought of this, it would be interesting because I feel like with the Sabretooth series coming up and exploring the pits and how, especially in Hellions, when Peter and Nanny were put in the pit together, and Kurt and other people were like, don't do this, like they don't deserve this, like it was an accident, like come on. I feel like we're gonna explore, if the pit is finally we're gonna explore if that is an acceptable punishment or not, and be interesting to see if they decide that's not an acceptable punishment, but then like Mystique comes in and says, what if we took away your powers? That's a great punishment. Forge, bring it in, buddy. And so from then on, they all vote that if you break a law, break one of the 3 laws, you lose your abilities. How awful would that be?
Oh my God. Could you imagine Sabretooth has to get a job?
I kind of want to see that now. Like Sabretooth working at a KFC or something.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I do not believe Sabretooth can handle working at a KFC. I feel like at best he's bagging your groceries. At best.
I
think he could do REI. He's got all the hiking stuff and the outdoor stuff. He'd
probably enjoy that though.
No,
I mean, he'd hate the customers, so.
But he'd be like in his environment, like, okay, this is outdoor shit. That's me.
I mean, that's fair. So we do want a punishment. We want something he can't do, it sounds like.
I think that'd just be more fun.
Well, here's the thing. You don't work at REI so you can live in the campground that they set up in REI, right? Like you work at REI to sell shit. Like, so if you can't sell shit, then what are we doing?
Sabretooth was just scary, buddy. He'd be like, you will buy this.
How scary would he be without his powers, though? Because he can't do anything. He's just like a big dude after that.
He's still a big bully. He's still a other terrible things he's done. He's done a lot of terrible things that even without his powers, he can be pretty threatening and scary as a human man. Human men are pretty scary, Chris. I hate to tell you, you guys are kind of scary sometimes.
I'm honestly, I've been terrified this whole time, Chris. I've been terrified.
Sorry.
That's why your sign behind just blinking. That's your fear.
That is
the fear meter.
Do we want to? I want to, before we wrap up, because we're getting close to that time, I want to like talk about these last pages and these labels that everyone was given.
Yes.
What you guys think about them, because I think we got some. I think someone's taking the piss, is what I think is happening here.
So we've got, for the first one, in the first panel, it's Charles and Eric, and they are the nation's founders. That's fair. Like, I don't have an issue with that. Do you guys have an issue with that one?
No, I don't have an issue with that.
Okay. One. So let's go to the next. I figure we can take these one by one, if that's okay.
No,
and that way we can hit them all.
I just want to point out that, nation's founders is a great way to say them. They are nation's founders. Historically, nation founders are not good men.
That is true. There's a really good line from Legends of Tomorrow, an episode where they were talking about like men in history that had great achievements, but they were actually, really racist or sexist or terrible or something, and there's a line I need to look up, but there's a really good line where they talk about that, how, the most successful men are usually not the best men, things like that, they're usually not. So
pretty much. I work in art. I'll tell you all about all the awful things artists have done. We venerate them. They're great, but
but there are some that are better. We've got Kurt and Storm in a panel, but this label took me by surprise.
Yeah.
So for Kurt and Storm, it says the always faithful. Chris, what do you think about that label for those two characters?
So for Nightcrawler, completely cool with that. I get it. Always faithful, fitting. Why is Storm with that one? That's what kind of threw me.
So I have a theory. Is it clear whose voice we're hearing right now? Because I think it's Xavier's.
I thought it was Emma's.
Did you?
That's what I thought. It was Emma's.
Because the thing is I feel like they were very. It's not clear. I went with it's Xavier's, and that's gonna help my theory here for a second. But what I look at this is I'm looking at this as Xavier is so out of touch with his actual students and with the people around him. And so he looks at Kurt and Aurora and he's like, those are some of my oldest students. They've been with me for the longest time. And of course they're going to have my back. They've always had my back. Why wouldn't they? I feel like he has absolutely no idea of the actual evolution their characters have had in the past. Who fucking knows how long since he's paid attention to either of them. So that's my take on it. And that's my take on most of these is like, he has no fucking idea who any of these characters actually are. And so his read on them is based on like his interpretation of them when he first met them, maybe 20 something years ago. And like, going on to the next one, the trustworthy with Peter. I mean, we know he's not trustworthy. We know that.
Well, and so the first point, I really like what you said, and I think this was on purpose now that you mentioned it by Hickman. We don't know who's narrating this here. There is no sure, and you can debate it all day because just when I think it's Doug, because of the first panel and the viewpoint of him looking down at him, right? Doug's in a panel as the innocent children. Same with, all the others. They're all in a panel, and so it's completely debatable who it is. I don't think your theory is wrong, but again, there's also no way to say that is the absolute truth because it's up to interpretation. I agree with Chris on the panel with Kurt and Storm. Kurt, I understand. I don't like it really, but I understand it because he is a character that is loyal to a fault, and he is all and faithful to a fault really fits him as a character, even though that bothers me at times. I understand it. I agree. Storm, I don't get, but after thinking on it, it makes a little bit of sense. She's not a loyal puppy like Kurt tends to be, but she is always faithful to what she believes in, and she will stand her ground. But that's different than how Kurt is faithful. Kurt just says, "Hey, if you say it and I trust you, that's it." Storm will challenge things like that typically. That's more her character. The one with Colossus here, the trustworthy. That one I think is just pure irony because we know he's under mind control. He's not trustworthy, And then Doug and Krakoa as the innocent children. To me, that makes sense. The broken keeper with Emma was interesting.
Can I take a step back and I think it's possible actually Magneto might be doing this.
Oh, okay.
As well.
Why do you say that over Xavier? I mean, I agree with you. It's possible. Is there a specific thing that tells you that?
Yes, because first of all, I think Xavier. I'm gonna stick by my assumption that Xavier has no fucking idea who any of these people are anymore because he doesn't pay attention to anyone. But I don't think Magneto has any idea who fucking any of these people are either. Like he doesn't know really much about Kurt or Storm or Colossus. He doesn't fucking know them. So he would just really. All he would really know about them is what Charles really tells him about them, is my assumption. What drove it home for me was him calling Doug the innocent children. Because he took Doug's death to heart so much when Doug died, and he blamed himself for Doug's death. So, I mean, it could go either way. It really could go either way because Xavier could also look at Doug as the innocent children because Doug represents that first class that Xavier had after his original class that was like actual children because the giant size really weren't kids. Some of them were young, but they weren't like kids. But like when you had your New Mutants, those were like actual kids. And then Doug dies. So it could be that as well.
I mean, now that you mention it, like I'm rereading it as you said, Magneto, and the wording. So one, we know Magneto is supposed to leave the Quiet Council. We know this is happening. Marvel solicited it. So when I look back on this after you said that, he starts with to once and for all save our people, all of them. Charles has never tried to save all mutants before, but Eric has with like Asteroid M and stuff. And then, like you said, the Doug thing is interesting. And then this last part is interesting where the narrator reflects, we built the walls high and locked ourselves inside forever, almost like realizing this can't work. We can't lock ourselves in forever. And that could lead to Magneto leaving the council. So that's an interesting theory. I like that.
Yeah, it's and the other part that makes me think is the Exodus, where he says the true believers, because we know Exodus is like obsessed with Magneto. So
that's fair. Do you have any other thoughts on it, Chris?
No, now I'm confused. I wasn't before.
Oh,
because either of those work, but I was saying, what if it's Krakoa speaking? But maybe that doesn't make sense because the last line, the forever thing, Krakoa is not a mutant, but maybe it's bonded with them. I don't know. Now I'm just confused. But I like both of those theories. I think they make sense.
Jonathan Hickman, if you're listening,
please come on.
Let us know. Or if anyone's watching, let us know what you think.
The wording is so specific for some. Like it calls Destiny and Mystique the killers. Like I don't think that's a Charles thing to be that blunt about it. You know, he'll probably dance around and say the less likely or the less liked people.
I feel like if Magneto were to say that, he wouldn't even mean it insultingly. He's just blunt. He's like, they're killers. Like, next, like
just the killers. You know, no problem here. The heroes, the villains, the killers, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, also, how would Charles know that Destiny has, killed other? I guess more. I guess did Destiny pull? Destiny did not kill Moira. She had Pyro do it. So how would Charles know Destiny's a killer? Magneto probably does though because of the Brotherhood days.
Yeah.
And Magneto makes more sense maybe because he is leaving, so he would be the one kind of dreading this, and that's why like Forever is its own text box.
Yeah,
and you've got To Be Continued Forever and some Immortal X-Men, and oh look, it's Magneto. So
I think that may solve the mystery.
Yeah,
Detective Lisa solved it for us.
There we go. Detective Lisa is here. I'm here for it. And Detective Lisa has one more thing to say. So just because you told someone to kill somebody doesn't mean you are not also going to jail, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so
yes, that is your free legal advice for the night, everyone.
Yes, Destiny is also on the hook for murdering Moira, even though she told Pyro to do it. So,
and even though Moira deserved it.
Yes, that's your little advice from me, who listens to way too much true crime podcasts.
Amen. Do you have any last thoughts, Chris? Anything else about the issue you wanted to talk about? Because I know there's 1,000 things that happened in it.
Sinister did nothing wrong.
I mean, Sinister did nothing. Period.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, if he did nothing, then he can't do anything wrong. Right. So you're both right.
He was instrumental in bringing Destiny back.
He was.
Lasting thoughts, though. The only thing I don't like about this issue, and I talked to you about this too, I don't like how we really don't know where we're going with this now. Like there was no big conclusion. Or I use that word like it was a great. It is, but we don't know where it's going. Like we don't know what the point of it was. Like all this, the shakeups, we don't know where it's heading. And in true X-Men fashion, it's okay. You just spent 4 months reading Inferno. Guess what? Now spend the next year and a half reading all these other books to understand why you read Inferno to begin with. And that's just true X-Men fashion.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I again would be so interested to see if we got the Hickman cuts. If we got the original way the Hickman planned or wrote the ending of Inferno before the X office told him, hey, by the way, change that please, because we want to keep Krakoa. Please don't actually burn it down, because if you think about it, I mean, when I was reading this, I was like, oh, I see exactly where he would have burned this all to the ground. There would have been an actual physical Inferno. But we see that, Doug comes in and that's completely prevented. I would really love to see what Hickman originally wrote and if it would still hold up, other than we couldn't keep Krakoa the way it is. But
do you know what I really appreciate, though, about this is the X-Men for a very long time have been, I mean, basically since inception, it's been like just a small group of mutants making all the decisions for all the mutants all over the world, right? It's like just these guys. And I think what I appreciate about the Doug situation is like, finally someone is like, okay, how about this, guys? Everybody fucking loves Krakoa. So how about you guys take your stupid whatever you're doing and do it somewhere that's not going to destroy all this amazing good stuff we've built. Like, that's what I kind of appreciated, where it's like, you know, again, we've got the major players all fighting and doing all their shit that they do that's all personal, that's going to destroy all this wonderful stuff that's been built. And Doug just walks in like, okay, you know what? We're done with this. Enough of your squabbles. You're not destroying Krakoa. Get out.
Yeah. I agree. And I don't know. I mean, I'm really happy about where I believe Immortal X-Men will go after this issue, because I was like, okay, I think this will be like, it'll be like a reality show and fun and like crazy and drama, but like how are they gonna get everybody riled up that quickly? And then now that literally the entire council knows about everything that's happened, I can't wait to see everybody's reactions. Like, we don't know how each character has reacted to news yet. I mean, if Emma reacted the way she did and ended up doing this, imagine how Storm's gonna react. Imagine what Kurt's gonna think, and Cade and Mr. Sinister himself. He's probably gonna be like, damn, why didn't you invite me to the party sooner?
Right.
Like,
oh yeah. I would be very interested to see Hickman's script and see what he wrote for as far as facial expressions for the characters, because like Kurt and Rose facial expressions are aggressive. Like they're not inviting. They're not happy to see people. You know what I mean? Like neither's Piotr's, like no one's happy to see anybody. Like everybody's except Mystique and Destiny actually look really happy to see people. They're like, come on,
yes, finally.
Everybody else looks like the world just ended or something.
Yeah, basically everyone's like, you know, oh my god, the worst things have happened, and Mystique and Destiny are like, girl, we're breaking up the party.
Wait. How does Mr. Sinister look? Does he look concerned, or is he vibing? Okay, he's vibing. Okay, I was just making sure. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
he's okay.
He's fine. Exodus looks like,
what is his mustache? Has he always had that stash?
No, this is new, and I think I like it.
I love it.
I think I'm into it. I got to do this.
I think you need to do that entire costume is what you need to do, Chris.
You know, I'm dying to, and I think it's going to happen at some point.
It should. You've got October coming up, or if you need a whole year, you can do it next October. But I think it would be worth it.
I love it. I love it. Exodus here looks like he walked outside to meet the Uber driver too early, and now he's got to stand there and wait.
It's probably raining.
That's it. Yeah. He's like, oh, they're like up the block, but do I go back inside, or like they're going to go back inside?
You know, Exodus is Exodus, but he's one of those pretty men that's like, ugh, the rain.
Yeah.
I love the way Emma's sitting though. Like, she looks so defeated in a way. Like the way she's standing there. I really like that. Or she's in deep thought about something. It's a really cool image.
I wouldn't call her defeated. I feel like she's hiding a smirk.
She might be.
That's what I say. I'm gonna
look.
I'm like, this bitch has secrets, and she is about to destroy everybody.
I think she looks sad. I agree with Chris, particularly because the text kind of matches in her posture. So they're broken keepers. And so to me, it looks like she knows that Krakoa is still flawed, and she knows it's not perfect, and she knows it probably should stop. But also, she doesn't want to do that because it jeopardizes the lives of all these mutants that she is actually trying to care for. And so she just feels kind of stuck because I imagine she also felt like she had to bring Xavier back. Like, how is she going to keep Xavier gone forever without everybody else being like, bring Xavier back? Like,
they're playing chess in Germany.
Yeah. That would be great. Throw Eric there too. They can retire together. Husbands deserve it. Let them have it.
Senior communities will accept them.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to see, like, to try to picture, like, two other people trying to run Krakoa. Like, if you had, like, Emma and Mr. Sinister, that'd be a hot mess. I'm here for that, though.
I say put Kurt in charge. He would Michael Scott the shit out of it.
God, that boy. Nah, everybody would try to convince him. He'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I have to please everybody." No, you don't, Kurt. I love you, boy, but no, you do not.
I put Storm in charge. I'm a big Storm fan.
She's the easy choice. Yes,
she's in charge of Morocco.
Morocco. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. She is.
She's the voice of soul.
Give the girl a break, man. You know, like, you know,
she can't run everything.
She could try.
I don't know.
She got that new book coming, X-Men Red.
Yep.
I feel like Emma and Kate could do it together. They have bonded over time. We see them and Marauders working together. Kate is taking on more of a leadership role. I also feel like though that because of Kate's development lately, they are aiming to put her in a leadership role like Emma's or like Storm's because she's still young, but they're finally actually letting her be a young adult instead of like a teen. Like it's so great. So like she's got a shot to move up there. They got to grow her more.
She's becoming the Kate of Nocturne's world. I wonder what that means.
Look, if they canonly and say that she's bi or at least not straight for once, I'll be happy. Like if it is actually made canon that she's not just a straight girl that like goes and makes out with random tattoo girls and runs away, that will be the start. It will be the full official start of her transformation. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be amazing. I think we should probably wrap it up though, because it has been 46 minutes of this beautiful first live stream. Those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. And those of you that are listening to the record on the pod later, thanks so much for checking it out. We've been all over the place, but it's been so fun. Chris, thank you so much for coming on again, especially so last minute. I knew how much you'd love this issue, so I would bring you on.
Thank you for having me. It was fun hanging out with you guys again.
Yes, absolutely. We'll have you back anytime. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we do something in 2 days, we'll invite you. No, I'm kidding, but we'll invite you anytime. Where can people find you? I know you are starting a new pod of yourself up, a new YouTube show, yes?
Yes, I am. You guys can follow me for now at thatChris70, but what I would prefer that you do is follow me and my buddy Emmett Davis over at our new project. It's called Gathering of the Geeks. You can find it on Twitter at G of the Geeks. We're going to have a live show. Our first live show is this Sunday. If you're hearing this recorded, it's on a Sunday. So check that out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Chris. And you and Emma, I've missed you guys doing your live shows together. Those of you that don't know, Emma and Chris do an amazing live show together when they do it. So they're finally back with their own thing. Really excited to tune in.
I mean, I love watching Chris Evans.
That's kind of the selling point. We don't even say it's me. It's Chris Evans, you know?
Yeah. No, listen, get that Captain America money.
Mm-hmm. Look, if you need some help with marketing, Lisa's right there. Ask her anytime. Like, she's so good with her marketing promos. I don't know if you've seen the
I just lie a lot.
Iconic.
I gotta get that deep fake thing going though. I need to learn how to use deep fake. Because I'm not technically lying. I am Chris Evans.
You are. That's true. That's true.
So you can't sue me.
Wait, is your dad a dentist?
No.
Oh, his dad's a dentist. That would be awesome.
Okay. His dad's a dentist. What the hell? Lisa, when we're not talking about Chris Evans's father's dentist, where can we find you at?
Oh, you can find me at the OG Nocturne, which you can see on a little screen right there. But it's also the OG NACHTURNE. And you can find the podcast on our website. We have www.SimplyAmazingpod.com. And you can find all of our links there. We're on Twitch now, as you can see, as you're watching us right now. But if you're listening later, find us on Twitch. You find us on Twitter at SimplyAmazingPod without the A. So it's SimplyAmazing Pod. Find us on Instagram at the same. Find us on Facebook at Night Scrawlers. We're everywhere. Listen, we're in your living room right now, behind you. Ah! Hey, girl. See? It's okay. I brought rosé. Hey.
All right. That's fine then. Scare me all you want, as long as you got some rosé.
That's it, girl.
Well, thanks again, Lisa. It's always great doing our little pod here with you. You can find me at friendly MBHD DBI. That's on Twitter and Instagram. All my other stuff is there. I write reviews. I do too much. I don't even know what I do nowadays. But definitely check out the pod, like Lisa said. And if you are somebody that has been personally victimized by Professor Gaslighter, please raise your hand and then move to the nearest living room, because we're all going to meet and talk about how simply amazing we all are.